Hello, folks. Officer Kelleher back again for another month on Merrimack PD Community Updates. Today is going to be a special airing. We have a special guest, one of my great friends, and he's been a mentor and, huge asset to Merrimack PD over the years. I'd like to welcome Detective Scott Park.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Thank you. Detective Park's going to tell you about himself, but, I got to say, anybody in the department needs something or, he's the go-to guy. He's been nothing but professional to me and when I first started. So you want to just tell the folks about yourself?
I will. Yeah, I just started my 31st year with the police department. Started when I was part-time at 19 years old. I was on for just a little while part-time and then moved to full-time shortly thereafter, and was in the patrol unit for quite a while. Spent some time on the police motorcycles, field training officer, and then was promoted and transferred to the Criminal Investigation Bureau in 2000, and I've been there ever since.
And I have to tell you guys, he's been the go-to detective. Any major case, Detective Park's going to be on it.
I guess when you've been sitting at that desk for that long, I guess they know where to find you.
Yeah. But you know what? A case is really made by, the quality of the work put in. And, there's nobody better than Detective Park.
Well, thank you for that intro, Robbie.
So today, we're going to talk about some holiday heads up. We have a whole bunch of stuff we want to talk about. It's that time of year. So let's get right into it. Detective Park, can you just tell the folks, some of the crimes that we see in the holiday season?
Yeah, this time of year is, when it started, I would say 7 or 8 years ago, we started to see a trend in online shopping that the increase became so... it changed the way everybody shopped, and what that invited was a whole new element that we were seeing, is that folks were buying packages, having them delivered to their homes. And then actually at one point several years ago, we actually made several arrests of two females that lived in Merrimack that were following delivery trucks to homes and grabbing the packages the minute they were delivered. So that started to introduce a whole new component to how we investigate crimes, because no longer was it just the situation where folks would run down to the mall, get their packages, put them in the car. We used to see packages getting taken from inside vehicles, and now we're starting to see or have seen a huge increase in packages being taken from doorsteps. So one of the things I just wanted to bring up so people were aware of it, with so much online shopping, it's important to, track your package, know when it's going to be delivered. The good thing is today a lot of folks work from home, so that allows people the luxury of being able to be there when the packages are being delivered. But if you can't, communicate with your neighbor and or make an alternate location where it can be shipped to where somebody's actually there to take it. I mean, let's face it, there are so many high-end products and goods that people are buying. They're having them literally dropped off on their doorstep. Daylight savings, we've lost that, so we're talking about 4:15, 4:30. It's starting to get dark now, and
For sure.
we did see a huge increase in that theft from home. So I want people to just be aware. But tracking your package and knowing when it gets there and to secure it, recover it as quick as you can is a good idea.
I'm glad you said that. And with the trend of online shopping, your point of drop-off for your packages is key to
Sure.
The safety and
Yep.
security of your purchase. Another good thing is deliver it to your parents' house.
Sure. Or work or wherever.
Yeah, your work. I'm sure your work wouldn't mind if you drop, package gets delivered, you
Sure.
take it home with you.
Yep.
But you just can't, nowadays, just having the UPS guy just drop it off in your front
No.
stairs
A lot
is
of
not
times
safe.
they're hung from the mailbox or they're put out away from the home. We actually just going through a fairly significant wave of identity theft, but also was trending toward this same type of activity. We've made a number of arrests in the last couple of months of individuals who are taking the identity of persons from all over the country. And what we've been finding is that they've been having breached credit card information, having credit cards charged up with a predetermined amount, and then these suspects would actually have the credit cards shipped by the banking institutions to various homes in neighborhoods all over town. So they've actually, the bad guys have actually been tracking these deliveries by U.S. Post Office, UPS, FedEx, and they've actually been there waiting outside knowing that the package was there to be delivered, and they use credit cards. We actually made one arrest early October, the end of September. That credit card has $17,000 balance on it. So
Wow.
yeah.
And,
So
and it is technology. I mean,
Oh, it's incredible.
It's almost to the minute when the
Yep.
delivery is going to be
Yep,
dropped
they can,
off.
They can follow it. They know exactly when it's going to be there. We've been fortunate that several of the residences where these packages were being delivered, the homeowners were actually there, either working from home or happened to be home at the time. So we put a pretty good dent in that activity. But kind of goes hand in hand with the whole online thing, protecting your identity, and it's becoming really, really important.
So I'd like to throw out there too is, I have a lot of neighborhoods in our neighborhood crime watch. So, and there are a lot of people working from home.
Sure.
Might not be your immediate neighbor, but use that resource. If you belong to a neighborhood crime watch, just throw it out there. Hey, does anybody work at home? And would you mind if we, had a package delivered?
Sure.
We'll pick it up.
It is so important in these neighborhoods that people communicate, and that we get the fact that not everybody gets along with everybody, and not everybody knows everybody. But if in the increase of people that are working from home with office sites being established right where they live,
Yeah.
it really has helped us with the whole see something, say something. Boy, we can't stress that enough. Everybody's got cell phones now. Years ago, we had to wait until someone got to a landline before they could call, and that put us 15, 20 minutes behind, in our response time. But it is so important that people are vigilant. They see what's going on around them, knowing who your neighbors are. Not saying you have to hang out with them, but you know what? After a while, you should be aware of what's going on in your neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Just being a concerned
Yep.
resident in
Sure.
your neighborhood, you should get familiar with what cars are normally in your
Sure.
area, and who looks suspicious, and and with that said, knowing what number to call us on, use our non-emergency number if it's not a 911 call, and that number is 424-3774. Everybody should have that number in their phone or something. So let's talk about some. What are some scams that we see around this time of year?
Well, I can tell you, in addition to the online, the packages being delivered, what we had summertime, early summer, is actually we had some scams going on with gas pumps in town where they were putting card readers behind the part where you swipe your card to prepay for gas out at the pumps. It seems to have shifted away from that, and part of what we've seen is that has been helping us is with the new Euro and MasterCard Visa chip on the credit cards and debit cards that people are using. I'm sure by now everybody's experienced the little bit of a delay that it takes you at the register to pay for items, and myself included. When I first got the new debit card, it was a little bit of an inconvenience because it had the chip on there and you had to insert the card. But I did a little bit of research on it, only for the fact it was driving me nuts every time you go to use it.
I don't have one.
Well, and I'll tell you, the good thing is that the Euro MasterCard Visa chip, that little chrome chip that you see on the face of your card when you insert it, each time that card gets inserted for a purchase, it jumbles around those numbers inside that microchip so that your data can't be reproduced and stolen that easily. So that's obviously been a big security measure that is helping with credit card fraud. So even though they're getting your identity, for them to clone or manufacture a plastic credit card, which is what they do when they're able to gain the information from the magnetic strip on the card. So if you look at the old traditional MasterCard, Visa card, debit cards, whatever, you saw that black strip on the back. Well, that magnetic strip is the one that strip had all the information, but it never changed. So every time you swiped it, if somebody were to game, it was the same series of numbers and information that was on there. Well, the EMV chip is changing it every time you use it, so it changes constantly. So that's a neat little feature that protects all of us, as much as it takes a little bit of extra time. And I was the first one to go crazy when I'd sit there and what does this really do? But well, it does help with that. But what we were seeing in the early summer was the bad guys would come in and put a card reader behind or inside, actually open up the gas pump and put this card reader behind, so when you swiped your card, they were taking all your information. Then they would clone a card. They would actually make a manufactured plastic. There were machines that make the cards, but with the microchip, you can't do it because it changes it all the time. So it's
that's
impossible.
a good breakthrough.
So, yeah, it was, and it's been used. Europeans have had it for years, but we've just come around. You'll see that some places still don't use the microchip.
So folks should be asking their credit card companies for the chip.
I would,
if it's offered, or
I would if you can get
go to another company.
Because it just makes it that much more difficult to gain that information off your card.
I've never had my identity or anything stolen, but I can imagine what kind of
I will tell you
issues it causes.
We've had folks come in and tell us, and it is an absolute nightmare to get that brought back to some type of resolution, because of what it does to your credit. It slows everything down, and that's the other thing too. Pulling your credit report periodically. I know that it does on occasion will take your credit report down a point or two by doing it, but if you were to weigh, the difference of what that does for your own peace of mind and security, just making sure that there's things on your credit report that should be there, and things that aren't there, you need to get taken care of. So it's a good idea. But those are the types of the computerized scams that we've seen. We go through waves of the phone calls where a person will call somebody at home. We've seen them as crazy as somebody calling somebody and saying, "Hey, Grandma, I'm up in Canada and I got caught fishing without a license." I mean, these are legitimate stories. These aren't, we're not making this up. I've been caught fishing without a license.
Let me tell you, he uses that story because he's a big fisherman.
I need $2,600 wired to Canada, and there are people that have actually fallen for it. Buying things online, eBay and the cloned car, or the ghost cars, vehicles that don't exist. People actually wiring money. We had a gentleman a number of years ago lost almost $6,000 on a Honda Accord he thought he was buying in Dallas, Texas, that didn't exist. So, those are the typical things that we see. And we go through waves of different types of criminal activity. And
I've actually, I remember a report about real estate. Somebody was looking to rent a house, and they actually sent money just from the image on one of the sites, and the person they sent the money to didn't even own the house.
Yeah.
So you got to use
it goes back to, if it looks too good to be true, then it probably is.
Yeah.
You can't say
You're
it
right.
enough. I mean,
that's never changed.
No, it has not. That's been a constant in my experience. We still get it. We just had a victim midsummer that was out $22,000 in money that was shipped overseas.
Oh my God!
So we still have it. It's
And you know what I tell people, you know, all the folks that I talk to and anybody out in the community, I always tell people, if they're faced with one of these scams, I say, at least tell one other person before you act upon it. Because 9 out of 10 times, that person, as soon as you tell them
I got the same call.
What the opportunity is, they're going to tell you, that's a scam.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Yep.
You know? Because, I mean, these scammers are getting good and,
Sure are.
you know, very convincing. And, you know, some of them look legit. But, you know, I tell people, just tell one other person or give the PD a call and we'll let you know.
You know, even if just let us know. It doesn't always mean that we're going to have the resources, the time, or the manpower to investigate, you know, these scams that are coming from Nigeria or everywhere all over the world. But if we know about them, we can tell about them. And if we tell about them, then people are going to go, now I know about this scam.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
word of mouth is really what helps us. Just communicate with us. Let us know, hey, this is what I got for a phone call. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to let us know.
But before you act upon anything, this
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
after the fact. Yeah, you can come and report it to us, but
It's a roll of
too
the
late
dice.
at
Yeah.
that point.
Yep.
So let's talk about, we have that wonderful Merrimack Premium Outlet in
Yep.
town. And as beautiful as it is and convenient, you know, this time of year, you know, it just brings huge crowds and
It will get busy.
you know.
Here is, I will tell you that this is one of the things we see time and time again. Folks will go shopping. You only got so much room to carry. They ultimately end up bringing back packages. They'll place them in their cars. Well, they place them in the cars. They don't put them in the trunk. They're in plain view. It takes nothing to shatter a window and grab these things. Wallets, handbags, pocketbooks, cash, out of sight, out of mind. If it's in the trunk, they can't see it, they don't think about it, they'll move on. And you've really got to be vigilant about doing that.
Because these guys, they're crimes of opportunity.
Oh, sure. And they're big
and
parking lots, and, you know, some of
That's
those
all they're looking for is that, you know, if
buck.
they see it there,
Yep.
they know what they're getting. They're not going to break a window and go searching.
Nope.
You know, the risk is too high for them.
Sure. They want something that's in plain view. And geez, over the years we've had, you know, wrapped Christmas packages stolen from cars at hotels. We can't stress it enough. If they can't see it, they don't know it's there.
Yeah.
You're so much better off.
Yeah.
But the activity at the mall will pick up. And you know, that's another thing. It's another area where you know, seeing something and saying something is critically important. We will have a fairly heavy show of force up there with officers working not only for the traffic but for security reasons. Plus, they've got security on site. But it's a big place. There's a lot of high-end merchandise up there, and it doesn't take much. You know, you put that in your car, and your car is 50, 60, 70 cars out from the building off the apron of the mall. And if it's within sight and it's dark, you're running the chances of your car having been broken into.
Yeah.
So.
How about some of the other things, like, you know, their wallet? You know, you see people tend to put their wallet up on a counter, then get their credit card out, then they end up leaving their wallet. Or
we've had several of those. In fact, we were fortunate. I guess it was probably a year ago or so that we had a woman from Amherst who actually had all her vacation savings in her wallet, and had made a purchase at one of the stores, left the wallet there with several $1,000s.
Wow.
And we were fortunate enough with the quality of the surveillance footage to identify or to put it out there to get these people to surface quickly, because, you know, they knew. And the long and the short of it is we get the money back. But boy, I got to tell you, short of tying a rope to it and you know, the old chain drive wallet.
Yeah.
And but boy, I got to tell you, it gets hectic. People get busy. They get caught up in the moment and leaving that there. Boy, it's important. Keep an eye on your stuff. It really is. And you know, the supermarkets, and I see it time and time again. Obviously, mostly with women placing a handbag in the top of the cart.
Yeah.
They push the cart down the aisle. They turn around, and we've done many of those theft cases.
Yeah.
So just being more vigilant, common sense.
Yeah, a little more heightened this time of year. You know,
Yep.
I mean, this is, you know, these crimes are opportunity driven. These thieves know that when there's a large amount of people, you know, more easy pickings.
When you
know,
blend
when
in,
you're not alert.
You know, we our thefts have increased drastically over the last 18 months to 2 years at the outlet. So we're aware of what's going on, but and it is picking up, and it will be only busier here in the next couple of weeks when we start to get real close to the holidays. So just being real cognizant of where you're putting your belongings in your wallet, and where you park, and how you park, and what you leave in plain sight is so important. It really is.
Now, speaking of plain view, what are some of the items that we normally see this time of year that get stolen, at residents and, businesses throughout the town?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what comes and goes in waves, but is typically it seems to be more of a constant are residential burglaries. And I will tell you that
with the snow flying soon.
Yep. These burglars that we have interviewed, guys in our office, time and time again, it is almost across the board, 100% the same story with these burglars. When we do have the opportunity to debrief them, they are motivated simply by money for drugs. But what they're doing is they're breaking into homes. They're looking for firearms. They're looking for cash. They're looking for jewelry. They're looking for items that they can get the most bang for the buck for on the street. When I first started in detectives,
many years ago, mind you,
there were times when you would talk to these guys and girls about what motivated them to do the burglary, and it was to keep the lights on, to keep food on the table, to keep the rent paid or the mortgage paid. I will tell you that in the last 15 years interviewing burglars, it has been for drugs. So I will tell you that the times that they're doing these burglaries are typically between 9 a.m. into the early afternoon hours. But we've also seen a slight uptick in early afternoon burglaries. When I say a burglary, I'm talking about into a garage. I'm talking about into a home, into some of these outbuilding sheds.
Well, in this time of year, thefts of snow blowers.
Oh, we're going to see it. Yeah, well,
snow
depending on the snow. The snow plows, that's another thing. I talk to the landscapers when I see them in the morning at the coffee shop. I'll tell them, hey, 'tis the season. Lock up, get the plow blades put somewhere where, you can't just roll up to them with a pickup and lock them up and go.
Fisher calls their plow minimum plows for a reason.
They're gone in a minute.
Takes a minute.
It doesn't take long.
$6,000, $8,000 plows, gone, and
We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen them it's about
and
this
they're
time.
hard to get back, right?
Oh, they're difficult to get back. Yeah, I've talked to plow dealers from all over New Hampshire, and one of the biggest reasons is, for whatever reason, the manufacturers just don't emboss the serial numbers into the metal. It's a decal.
Yeah.
So I tell these guys, have one of your welders, have somebody weld your serial number on there and keep it. It just makes the trackability so much better for us. But the burglaries, the thefts from the homes, the snow blowers. I mean, there were winter years ago. We had a snowblower was actually taken while the guy went in to get something to eat. I mean, that's just how fast it happens, and it is an opportunistic crime. But if you've got two guys in a pickup truck and that's what they're looking for, all they got to do is hit a couple of neighborhoods. You're going to see it.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I guess the average guy who doesn't have to get stuck investigating them doesn't think much of it. But when you leave a snowblower sitting out in the yard or whatever, it just makes it that much more inviting.
And I think I don't know if this is on purpose, but I've seen a lot of times these burglars, it's a guy and a girl. I don't know if they,
Oh, sure.
if they're using the girl as, people don't suspect, girls being part of a burglary.
What we do know is that when they pull into a driveway, one or two of the persons will typically exit the vehicle. They'll knock on the door. They'll knock on the back door. They'll knock on the front door again. They want to make sure that there is absolutely zero chance of anybody being home. So, and if somebody does answer, this is what we get, and we get it time and time again. Hey, are you the one selling the snowmobile on Craigslist? Are you the one selling this on eBay? And because that gives them a quick way to say, no, geez, I must have the wrong house, and then they move on to the next home. And what I tell folks, I tell my neighbors this too. I said, listen, if you can make it appear in any way, shape, or form that you can, short of putting a mannequin on the railroad tracks like in the movie Home Alone, make it appear as though somebody's there.
Yeah.
If you do, either by leaving a radio on, anything you can to make it so much as even a thought that someone's going to be home, they'll move on to the next house. And I've interviewed burglars in the years past, and they've said, hey, what made you pick this house over the next one? Just because it looked like nobody was there. Yeah. We have so many homes that are set back and covered by woods. And yeah, it's a great privacy aspect, but at the same time, it leaves you a bit more vulnerable. And that goes into, one of the other things too is so many of these homes, we're seeing an increase in home cameras. Those are great for identity. We've seen footage that has been sent to us from other police agencies with absolutely incredible clear footage of the burglar actually in their home.
Yeah.
As scary as it is, it's great as a tool for us to investigate. So, those are that is really starting to become popular. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Detective Park. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. He gave you a lot of good information, a lot of good tips to stay safe. I just want to close by saying we just started our holiday annual food drive for those folks who need a little help during the holiday season. Please, if you can, drop off points or at the police department in the lobby, the highway garage, the transfer station, Hair Therium at Harris Pond Mall. So if you can, swing by with some food. We appreciate it. We donate the food to the 3 food pantries in town. So have a safe holiday. Thank you.